Sideline of ball! Lakewood's doing it! They're gonna take! He's gonna bring down 30. Almost with a double deal. Dropping fast. Monopoint's there. He's still alive! Wait 2 seconds left. He's going one side. He's going a second. He's taking it up. They're all the die on 3. They're all dead!
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. It's the Summit 2 by G2A.com, the Europe Division, and we are in day number 14 and match number 4 of the 7 best of ones we have for you today on special. Bringing you that English coverage, of course, is myself, Coddle Guy, over here for Beyond the Summit. But joining me remotely again is going to be Mr. Blaze. Blaze, my friend, we have seen pretty obscure play coming out from Tinker recently. Yesterday, they fell 0-2. Though I would have to say they were just a bit out of their element after completing their run through Star Ladder. I'm sure the boys went out, had a good time, let's say. Probably didn't get a whole lot of rest. We're pretty fatigued, and we even used 2 stand-ins in their most recent matchup here in the Summit. So I'm expecting them now in full roster to perform strong here. But what do you feel about the matchup between Tinker and Empire?
It's a really tough one to call. We'll really see how well the teams are on point and in what form they're in. Obviously, we saw Team Empire. They did fairly well against Navi. They were up against a very difficult draft. Obviously, FNG pulled a really nice one out, and they were able to execute really well, Navi, that is. So Empire, they had their work cut out for them in that one, but they seemed resolute enough to be able to hold it for a very long time, put up a good fight, and I expect them to perform pretty well against Team Tinker. Still, when it comes down to executing at their maximum potential, if we do see Team Tinker on their best foot, I would give them the advantage. They have so much potential, but it just comes down to realizing it, so we'll see. But for now, the draft, we do see the tide gets picked up by Empire, and we have seen that dominate in Star Ladder as well as a lot today.
Absolutely, and we're going to see the 1-2 big, bad, beefy punch of Empire, going to grab a hold of that Ogre McGee, followed up with Tide, which, I mean, Tide and Refresher, man, it just goes hand in hand nowadays, and is quickly escalating as being part of the biggest pickups you can get in the early game. What was once all about Big Brad here, which Tinker grabbed a hold of, the Horse God himself, now is quickly falling towards Tidehunter, I feel, at least as far as Western Dota goes and from what I've seen as of recent. But Tinker, they get a hold of the prize, Skywrath Mage. We saw how good a quick counter play of a quick reaction Ancient Seal can work with the burst damage. I mean, there was one point in that recent game when it was Skywrath going toe-to-toe with Silence Gyrocopter one-on-one, and he still managed to get the kill. So it just goes to show how much burst potential is there with someone like Skywrath Mage. And now you get, of course, the Centaur Warrunner, the global presence, the Stampede, utilized both offensively and defensively, just a true treat. Now, just to make a small touch as far as the stats currently in the Summit, it is Team Tinker, who are currently sporting a 6-3 record, and they're going against Empire, who are now 4-5 after their recent loss to Navi.
So right now, I mean, going into it, I like the draft from both sides. I mean, we see that there's a lot of respect put on a couple of different heroes from both sides. Obviously, the Wisp is a very difficult hero to go up against when you put it in the hands of Team Empire. We've seen Solo do some cool plays there. And actually, interestingly enough, banning out Korkva's Legion Commander in the initial phase. But now going into Phase 2, it's much more about synergies and counter-synergies. They're worried about things like the Call Down and the Death Ward coming in conjunction with the Ravages, and just worrying about really early movement. Cores that come online earlier on, and in general just losing control of the game. And I think this Lich pick also feeds into that a little bit here. Lich is not a hero that wins you the game. It's a hero that loses you the game less until the rest of your heroes can really come online. I mean, there's some situations where Chain Frost can absolutely destroy a team fight, but most of the time, if you're just looking for a reliable source of value out of the Lich, it's going to be out of the sacrifice, it's going to be out of the defensive properties like the slows, the ice armor, things like that. So right here, they're worried about the maximum potential of Empire, and we'll have to see what this Lich brings.
10 seconds remaining.
I'm feeling a Morphling's going to pop up here for Team Tinker. They definitely love having the Lich Morphling combo work for them. And you know, just picking a Lich up at this point when he really doesn't counter a whole lot as it stands. I mean, a little bit of extra armor, I guess, certainly doesn't hurt
10
having on
seconds
yourself or your
remaining.
allies or even now the buildings. But there it is. It's going to be a Morphling
Nice.
grab. They
Team
love this combo.
Empire's turn to
And it's
pick.
going to be a mid lane Morphling.
Dire
And Lich is going to be
team
right there to
ban.
aid with a extra, a little bit of work with the sacrifice, but overall just kind of babysitting out this Morphling. Something that Bulba was preaching about through Starladder. So I'm not
Team
really surprised to
Empire's
not see this
turn
Morphling
to
grab
ban.
up. Empire. Now, they fire back with a nice grab here. Phantom Assassins made her way through, and it's really no surprise after you already see Ogre Magi picked on early up, and now with Magnus, it's just kind of Empower plus, a Bloodthirst,
Dire
not Bloodthirst,
team
what am I
pick.
thinking of? Bloodlust, rather. On top of PA, man, she's going to hit so freaking hard later, and that's a platform that's going to be set up by the initiation of Tidehunter. So this fifth and final support grab could just be kind of the cherry on top here, or maybe just a lingering support that can counter what Tinker have. I'm not too sure exactly what that could be, and Tinker, for theirs, they're going to have to round out with what looks like the side lane farmer.
10
Yeah,
seconds
so just trying to
remaining.
enhance damage potential here. I think the Vengeful Spirit could be really cool on the side of Team Empire.
5
Obviously,
seconds
just a
remaining.
go-to here with a lot of potential in general. But if you swap away from a Chain Frost, you're able to
Reserve
dissipate that
time.
effect very nicely. And then, of course,
5
she enhances
seconds remaining.
PA's damage quite nicely. The same way the Bloodlust does. Well, actually, a different way, but
Team
same
Empire's
idea. You
turn
get
to
the
pick.
aura, you get the negative armor, you get some kills. So I like the idea of VS here for Team Empire. But Team Tinker are going to wrap it up with a Timber Saw here. So pretty interesting situation for you. I like the Morphling, as you mentioned. You predicted just because it's some that Team Tinker like to run, but particularly here, with all of these disables that aren't hexes or silences, you're able to morph during those stunts, during the Ravage, Fire Blast, even the RP. So this is a hero that can actually survive against that and
10
might be enough to bring the
seconds
tide down.
remaining.
And along with that, he's got a lot of magical nuke. We've got all 5 heroes from
5
Team Tinker
seconds
providing
remaining.
a lot of magical and pure damage that PA is not going to be able to deal with in the early game. She will probably get a
Reserve time.
BKB up pretty early on, but we've seen how that tapers, and that might be a weakness of itself. So I think they have the tools to take this one in the early, mid, and late game. And I guess I could say that from both sides. If Team Empire execute really, really well, they have a very scary lineup indeed. And in fact, the PA Magnus combo is probably the scariest on the map right now, but it really does come down to execution in this game.
It certainly does. I can't argue with that whatsoever. I love the Timbersaw grab. They already have fatties on the team, Ogre, Tidehunter, Magnus. He can rip right through them and has heavy burst potential and will be able to draw attention away from their Morphling. If Sing Sing's able to come online with some reasonable farm in the early game, if he somehow manages to get some early pickoffs, a kill here and there, gets a hold of his arcanes, he can really snowball into something huge, and that would be attention drawn away from their Morphling who can continue to farm up. Down the road, if you're kind of contesting with the PA, Morphling should be
Prepare
able
for
to
battle.
hold his own reasonably toe-to-toe, but it also can be just as elusive in doing a bit of split push as well, can get objectives done. A Disruptor, I was going to say I would expect some support who could dish out Silence. I wouldn't even put it past maybe a Silencer, but Disruptor definitely gets it done with his Static Storm. But Glimpse as well can kind of obviously throw anyone back with just a misplaced timing TP initiation. So we'll see how it works out here as we hop into the game, the fourth one of today. Empire taking on Team Tinker on your Radiant side. For Empire here, we got Yoki back again. He's now going to be playing the off-lane Tidehunter. We got Solo, who's going to be playing your support Disruptor. Mid lane is Resolution, playing his glorious-looking Magnus. On the bottom lane, it's going to be Silent, playing the core Phantom Assassin, and already flirting with the neighborhood of Timbersaw.
30
It is going to be
seconds to
Always Want to
battle.
Fly, playing your Ogre McGee or Ogre Magi.
Instinct goes down to the bottom lane really quickly and is able to drop down the ward that he wants. Unfortunately, it will be dewarded here as the sentry's very well within the range. Actually, it's probably like, I don't think there's a way that you don't deward that with any sentry that you place against that camp. If they place a sentry there, almost all of them are going to be in range, since that's kind of smack dab in the middle there.
Yeah.
Anyways, he still got down there early. I like that idea in general, that he doesn't buy up his items until the courier comes
battle
up.
begins.
Because he does want to get in position to maybe make them think that he didn't block it at all until they realize it's too late. Anyways, for now, it's going to be Sing Sing on that Timbersaw down in the bottom lane. It's going to be a duo in the mid lane here. Pycat is going to be around the Morphling, already 1 point in Morph, and it's 11 to 32 on the strength to Agi ratio. He's going to be supported by EGM on your Lich, sacrifice first, out and going, and then of course on the top lane we've got Skywrath Mage, double damage, that's Bulba here, and then of course Korkova is going to be the playmaker here on the Centaur, looking for that early blink.
Yeah, Bulba. Love Skywrath Mage. You've been playing it all freaking season long here, as recent as, of course, TI4, when Team Liquid really helped try to shine the true potential of the Skywrath Mage and Faceless Void combo. And just a hero he's well versed on and definitely knows how to get the job done. He's already doing the early zone factor, keeping Tidehunter back. Tidehunter hates this. This hero, such a pest, keeping him away from that XP as much as possible. Bottom lane, it's going to be the same story for Sing Sing, trying to be pushed back, but Disruptor can't really offer the same kind of harassment, obviously, as Skywrath can, though. An occasional Thunderstrike could kind of keep him back, and as the levels do develop here for Disruptor, you always have to kind of fear a nicely timed glimpse. Mid lane, however, Morph and Lich, they shouldn't have too much trouble here, as Resolution is going to be constantly pressured back by that Lich. The denies are always going to be coming in, and an occasional Nova Blast could kind of keep him down and force him to use that regen, which he's already down to one shared Tango left with only 45
Sing
seconds.
Sing does not have Whirling Death down here, or sorry, the Timber Chain down here, so he's going to take a lot of damage. They have the Slip from Cycling Dagger. This is going to be First Blood.
There it is.
He doesn't have Timber Chain or reactive armor. I don't even know what that build is in the offlane.
Yeah, in a lane that you're not taking advantage of and not getting kills, the level 1 Whirling Death, I don't doubt you. That's a bit questionable. Timber Chain or reactive armor, at least, the more defensive abilities where you can try to get away from a tri-lane engagement like this one. So, unfortunately, Sing Sing will hand over First Blood.
I dare say that's a misclick on the skilling. Like, I can't see a situation where a sane man would go for that skill, level 1, in a 1v3 situation. It just seems completely out of the question.
Don't know exactly what happened behind those headphones, but for now we'll kind of chalk it up to a bit of a misplay right there from Sing Sing. As he returns back to the offlane position, he's going to have a bit of a struggle here on his hands, and it's going to be more free roam here for Silent to build in that early farm. Which is, speaking of, top, tied near the top, we're at it right now, alongside with this Morphling and Centaur. So 2 lanes going pretty nicely here, though, for Team Tinker. They're getting a lot out of this top lane, and Morphling's getting work done as well in the mid lane when you compare that to Magnus at 7-0, while he's bringing in now 12-5.
So in this position, it's worth noting that Pycat, like, when Morphling was out of the metagame, he was one of the few Western players to actually pick up this hero anyways. Like, when he was nerfed to the ground and people thought he was completely unplayable, Pycat still found opportunities to bring him in and just show the experience on this hero, show what he can accomplish with maybe a good shotgun combo. So I expect a lot of good things here. I mean, with the help of the Lich, he's up to 16-5, despite having to CS under tower a lot. Like, Sacrifices pulled the wave back, and there's been a lot of times where Empire have a double wave of Radiant creeps under the tower, but Pycat's still just CSing up a storm, and obviously up top, Korkiva is doing pretty well at the same time. The only thing I'm really worried about here is Sing Sing has gotten absolutely nothing out of the early game. He's still level 1. He's not a hero that can rebound in the jungle or Ancients, and at least not early. And he just seems to have no home.
Yeah, hopefully he can find the opportunity to kind of build up some CS, because Tinker are counting on him to put on quite the show in the mid game on this Timbersaw. And, well, it looked like they were having a bit of a rotation here on the side of Empire. Interesting to try to use Disruptor. Disruptor's not one of the better heroes going for very early game ganks. I mean, his Thunderstrike does not the best damage early, though it does provide vision, and his Glimpse at level 1 has reasonable range, but you really still have to be into the mix if you want to try to get a nice one off. So he'll keep leveling that up quite a bit. He's going to guard out the bottom room, which is the Illusion. That leaves the bounty at top for Pycat to take control of. Still side by side with this Lich combo. Meanwhile, top lane, though, they're making it go on Yoki. They throw out the Concussive and some Arcane Bolts. Can they get enough damage off where Korkiva could try to finish with a double edge, but nope. Just too sturdy, too thick of a rind on this Watermelon. But mid lane, Waveform pulls him back, but Glimpse is going to be right there. And now Thunderstrike, Shockwave. Do they have enough to burst him down while he's building up the gains? He is hit with a Fire Blast. It's taking a lot. Always want to play my overcommit. He will. Turn around, smack in the face from Pycat. Says, don't chase me. All right. I got plenty of Morph ahead of me.
Yeah, dude, that was so insane. They were going for a skewer on the Morphling, and they had the perfect position for it. Resolution was about to pull him into the tier 1 tower, but right then the Waveform comes out and dodges it. They still get the Glimpse back, so they make it a run, but in the end, it's just them overcommitting and a tanky hero like Ogre going down. That's going to give Sing Sing his level 2. He's actually going to take the mid lane for a short time span, and he desperately needs this comeback. Pycat, he's fine just to get the last hit on that kill. He's now 1-0 and plenty of CS, so he actually can give up the lane for about 30 to 40 seconds here and still feel fine. He's actually really happy about them committing so much to gank him and how well it turned out.
Disruptor gets himself denied after buying out, so he has the quicker trip back to the fountain, it looks like. And during that meantime, while they're still trying to add pressure here to Yoki, he has a lane fully to work with now, pushing ahead to 17-2 CS. Has gotten him a lot done while attention was diverted elsewhere in that big heated exchange in the mid lane. And you know, even if always want to fly, I mean, I understand the commitment. Even if you fall yourself for that kill, it's big. But they're making it go right now on Yoki once more. We'll see if he can test his luck a second time, because Sing Sing's now getting involved Slices him down already to about a half life, and they quickly burst him down. Big nuke, return fire, shockwave, and Skewer secures resolution. A fantastic double kill, and they're going to look for EGM right here. He's trying to hide, but he can't run. Shockwave from above comes down, and resolution pulls in a fantastic triple kill.
That was absolutely insane. 540 damage from, or sorry, 777 damage coming from Magnus, 614 from Tide there in the early game. Those multiple anchor smashes is wearing down these heroes that actually have pretty low armor. And then, of course, coming in, the cleanup crew, Magnus, able to do what he needs to. And look how close he is to the blink dagger now. Resolution is now at 1650 in the gold, and that's going to turn into blink skewers, it's going to turn into great RPs. It's just incredible how much they were able to turn that. That would have been an easy kill, but a couple of anchor smashes, and it goes completely in Empire's favor.
Yeah, Magnus is going to be coming online very, very quick because of something like that. So he's just going to continue to farm it up. You see Yoki, he's going to go for the stacks here on the Ancient Camp to kind of farm down later. Benefits a lot also from that top skirmish. He's now at 1k gold. He might even just go right forward for this blink, not holding off for an Arcane Bolt or Arcane Shoes yet. Oh, as I say that, looks like he's going to pay less right now. He's going to pick up some new shoes. Yeah, there he goes. Hey, how you doing? Blue sippers, please. Thank you very much. Walks back towards the top lane, and we'll pay attention to that stack later.
So, one thing I do want to mention is that we do not see Ice Armor coming out for EGM before level 6, and usually you're following a trend here where level 7, level 8, you're probably not going to be skilling that Ice Armor to level 8. So, the one thing I want to mention here is that other than Morphling, everybody's really low armor. Without any reactive armor, right now Sing Sing is at 0 base armor, Skywrath is at 1, Lich at 2, and even the Centaur's only got 4 to boast. So the fact that they don't have Ice Armor early on, it gives them tons of nuke potential to bring down the PA if she mans up. But if not, then they're just going to be taking tons of damage from Anchor Smash, and they can die very quickly. So it's a decision that I respect. I think EGM can get a lot of value of that extra point in Frost Blast, but it is interesting to note that a lot of other players at this stage in the game would have one more point in it, just a value point.
Radiant's middle tower
Certainly
is
so.
under
For top
attack.
lane now, Koikfa still waiting to put that Stampede to true use here on his Centaur. He's still soloing it about in the top lane. For now, he's about to have his Blink
Dyer's
Dagger, so
bottom
I imagine
tower
that's
is
when they're
under
going to go for a
attack.
big turn because they're going to need a lot to get done here. Bottom lane, though, well behind the tower. You see the back end of that one. Glimpse is going to send back Skywrath to top lane, and they will be able to get their hit and run complete, taking out Sing Sing there at the bottom. That sends him back to top lane, where he now meets up with a Fire Blast. Bulba
Dyer's bottom tower is under attack.
now on the run here to get away. Not going to be taking too much damage, goes right by the tower.
And Cinder just picked up his Blink, so this gives them opportunity. If they get some damage up on the top lane, they can certainly find a kill opportunity, even on the tanky Tide or Ogre. But it's still passivity for Team Tinker for now. Pycat goes with Hand of Midas, a very Pycat-esque item. He definitely wants to just build up his farm, and it's not going to prevent him from progressing. I mean, he's still going to be able to farm up stacks very nicely with Waveform, and he's going to get a lot of experience. That's a big deal because Morphling has good stat gains. It's a damn good stat gains, actually. 3 Agi gain, 2
Dyer's
strength gain,
top
even
tower
intelligence
is under
matters for him.
attack.
So building up his experience, building up his overall progression, the Midas is not bad. It's slow rolling for now, but it's going to be what he needs to keep pace with the Phantom Assassin.
Yeah, couldn't agree more with that because PA is already getting so much additional work from just the team. Like almost additional damage items from Empower alone. Put up the Bloodlust on top of that. She's going to be well in ahead as far as right click comes out. Now they could possibly get scouted out here. They turn back, they save Bulba. They're looking to blow up the little support, but meanwhile it's going to be a Lich takedown by Resolution. But nice jumping from Koikfa, stuns 2. They turn out the Ravage and they press on even though he loses his Ogre.
Dyer's
And then
bottom
Resolution
tower is
quickly
under attack.
takes down again the Centaur. So a double kill once more for Resolution. This Magnus, man, so big and beastly. And they're still
Yeah, I
not
mean, they
done
just
yet.
have
They're going for
Better
Pycat.
team abilities. I think he'll be able to waveform away. It's going to
Dyer's
take
bottom
Blink Skewer
tower is
back
under
in order to
attack.
actually pull him out
RP's
of a
still
bad
up,
situation.
too. With the blink. Oh, no, the blink! That's not going to happen. Now retreating back in. Pycat, nice skewer, though. Can he finish him off? He decides to pull back. The Morph is just becoming too strong, but always want to fly. Says, I will finish what you started, my friend, and clubs it home. Turning back. He sees him go on Lich, but nope, it's going to be Koikfa. Jumps in, hoof stomp, see you later, says Solo, sends him back to base. Jump forward from Resolution, gets the finish off on EGM. Now going for Skywrath Mage, while Ogre does end up falling. And another double kill for Resolution. Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Dyer's
The way
top
they
tower
played this out. I
is
mean,
under
obviously
attack.
the reverse polarity was horrible because they didn't get anything, just RP Dodo before Wind Dagger Dodo. But All the same, they got a lot of value out of that. They got the glimpse back. They were able to kind of clean up what they needed to, and they're getting a lot of kills. 12 and 6, and the Phantom Assassin hasn't hardly participated.
Dire's
She's got 2
bottom tower
assists,
is
but she
under
hasn't left
attack.
her lane for them. So just the fact that she's able to accumulate over 80 CS at this stage in the game, while it's still a high-tempo
Dire's
game,
middle tower
it shows
is
how
under
well
attack.
Empire are fighting with their early cooldowns. And it's also important to note that they're the ones with cooldowns. Like, the Reverse Polarity, the Ravage, sometimes you're like, okay, well, is it worth exhausting because so
This
much
should
time
make my life
passes that you
easier.
don't have it? But Team Tinker don't have anything to compete with that. Like, they have Stampede and Chain Frost, which are long enough cooldowns in of themselves. So, yeah, Empire able to commit to the team fight, make some magic happen, and PA gets a pretty easy
Dire's
space created
top tower is
type
under attack.
early game.
Well, they are on the hunt right now. They are smoked up. Solo, he's got level 3 glimpse. The range is big. They're on just the cusp here of Pycat. If they get just in range, they can get it. There it is. Are they going to use it? Sending him back in here. Immediate Static Storm will lock him in his place. Now, do they have enough burst? RP, it's not up yet. 10 more seconds. They can't do it with just the 2 of them. Had it been anyone else besides Morphling, it would have been a different story, but Solo quickly pulls the TP out. Smart choice. And also worthy to note in that previous fight, considering how much Empire got out of it with that whiffed RP, not even being able to use RP in it, for a team that has big ultimates, they're looking pretty good.
So, right now...
Oh, there's a new RP, though. Catches Koikfoot. Skewers him back into Ogre. Pulls out the Ignite. Negative Burn is going to bring Koikfoot pretty low, but they end up blowing up and taking out the Magnus. Huge return bounty for them, and they're looking for more. Tinker dash on forward. Pycat, though, very, very low. Sing Sing now under pressure from Fly, looking to push on in. EGM does get his Chain Frost off at the last second. It's bouncing again to Solo. Solo's going to be low enough for a nice double edge. Cleaned up there from Koikfa. Still, Ogre lashing out the damage, is able to grab another kill for himself. Negative Earth flies out. Silent makes her debut into the fray, but it's already big damage just from that double edge. And she has to pull back. Whoa.
Yeah, these are nearly suicidal double edges coming out here. Like, he committed and he got a kill with it, but he guaranteed his own death, and the Ravage came through, was pretty solid. The reason Team Tinker didn't really want to take that fight just now was because the Morphling was already on the defensive. He had more strength in the jungle when they went for the Glimpse pickoff, and although he survived through that, he never got time to recharge back at the fountain. He went back, if he had gone back, Agimorph, gotten back to the front lines, then were able to put out good right-click damage, that'd be one thing. But as he was already halfway, all the way morphed to strength, and he still was taking a lot of damage, that was not the fight for him. Luckily, the Chain Frost was really solid, and the buyback was there for Centaur. If not for the buyback of Koikfa, they wouldn't have gotten anything,
Dire's
but
middle
at least they
tower
get
is
some more
under
kills on the
attack.
board, and Sing Sing finally finds his level 6.
Yeah, he's going to need to try to recover here, but... Oh!
Assassination.
Whoa! That was what looked like back-to-back immediate crits there from Silent that just kind of took Timber down, and though we're just thankful that Sing Sing had reached his level 6, he's going to be dead for a little bit now, and he has to head all back and continue rebuilding up his funds. It's been a rough time for Sing Sing, not just this game, but in his previous two as well. Just didn't really get on that mark, and might be apparent here that the Team Tinker team's still trying to kind of shake off the Star Ladder
Dire's
jitters,
middle tower
coming
is
back
under
into
attack.
normal Summit play.
That was practically a jump scare out of a horror movie, like right there. Oh,
Like this? Like this, Blaze?
Silent.
Oh my goodness. Silent gets another kill and a great pickoff taking down
Sisters of
Bulba.
the Veil honor your
They
dead.
just don't have any armor. No reactive armor still on Timbersaw means he has 0, or now 1 armor. He's almost taking sheer damage from physical right clicks, and he is,
He might die again. He gets skewered back towards his own tower, but he gets cleaned on up there from Yoki. Now EGM under pressure. Scouted out. Stampede is forced to be pulled out with a magic wand to get away from that one. But meanwhile, it is going to be Magnus that falls under the hand of Koikfa, but here comes Silent. Clings up and gets a bit of redemption right there. Still all Empire right now, but look who's TPing back. Is there a glimpse nearby? Yes.
Dire's
Nope, he's already moving away from Morphling. He's getting chased down on the other side. EGM super low. Bulba's back from the dead, but he might die, and he will. Chain Frost does come out from EGM, slowing down.
Dire's middle
Meanwhile,
tower is under
still, Solo gets up, still taking out Morphling. I thought he was going to clean up him by now, but that's not the case. This is the biggest hot mess I've
Dire's
ever
top
seen come
tower
out.
is
It
under
is just
attack.
nonsense. Empire just got so much out of that. I don't even know what Tinker are going to do.
They're using the Empower Cleave and the Battle Trade Cleave. Okay, no Empower at the moment, but they cleaned up the enemy stack. Like, Silent, 1 crit already takes out half the health of any target that he chooses. But the fact that he's being
Dire's middle
empowered,
tower is
bloodlust,
under
and he's
attack.
got a DD rune, like, watch Sing Sing die.
Oh my God!
Taken out.
Dire's middle
That's
tower
ridiculous.
has fallen.
That's a timber saw.
The timber saw with no range of
Dire's
armor.
middle tower is
He
under
might as well
attack.
be a wisp. Like, I don't know.
Wow.
Double damage rune.
Condolences. I don't know what to say. That was
That's-
quick. That's 3 back-to-back deaths I've seen now, from the bottom lane to his return to the mid lane, getting resolution jumping on him, and then there again. He's got to be on full-blown tilt at this point. I mean, if this is me even in a pub, I'm freaking out. Oh my God, I can't even look away for a second to see Centaur does manage to find a quick catch-off right there on your Magnus, but return fire coming out. Ravage gets right pulled out from Yoki, and Pycat's locked down long enough where they can take down the Precious Morphling Bulba. He's in trouble, can't get away from this Tide Hunter. He'll be able to take him out solo, and meanwhile you can see Sing Sing coming back in, gets stunned up. They slice down another in the hands of Silent, taking out EGM. Sing Sing gonna fall next, and this is getting quickly near GG territory. Though Koikfa, the lone one to get a kill, he immediately falls right after, and it's another huge fight for Empire, taking out all 5 of Team Tinker.
This is just absolutely insane. If you look at like the goal graph or the experience graph, you'll see at the bottom all those green boxes. That's all
Dire's
kills.
top
That's
tower
just
is
blood
under
on the
attack.
hands of Empire. They're absolutely destroying Team Tinker. 27 kills in 17 minutes.
Dire's
8-0 and
top
5 on their
tower has
hard
fallen.
carry, who is at her peak right now with BJB. Like, screw scaling late game. This is all she needs, just to slice and dice and completely dismember Team Tinker. Pycat will try to make something happen, but he's got 1 point in Adaptive Strike. Like, you don't kill this PA. She's got 2 great heroes at her back, 1 with an RP. She's buffed up all the hell. Like, this is unstoppable.
It really is. And I mean, if you're looking at people getting one shot out of the fight, how you're looking to stand as a group here is, it looks like Team Tinker going for a brawl potentially here in the top lane. This one goes just as disastrous. You might as well just call it game. They're going to creep on forward, though. Koikfa lead in the front is going to run to Solo here. Solo could reactively try to glimpse back if possible. We're going to be potentially caught out. Oh, they invest into a hoof stomp there. RP on the backside, catches 2, shoves him into the wall and takes him down. Silent, godlike here. They're stepping back, getting bloodstone up, but here we go. EGM on the retreat. Silent can't quite catch up. Meanwhile, though, they're finding kills on the backhand side. It's Koikfa getting locked down here from Yoki and ran down. And on the other side, you see Silent finishes out EGM. Pycat, one of the lone survivors, going to get out of there. Koikfa, though,
Radiant's middle tower is under
Shockwave
attack.
just puts him out of his misery, and he goes right back to base.
Take him out back, man. This is ugly. I mean, the Urn charges
Radiant's
are just
middle tower
flowing
is
with
under
Ogre
attack.
Magi. He's just like, I looked at the Magnus that got out with like 10% HP from a Chain Frost, and I see him 15 seconds later, he's full HP, and I'm like, how does that happen? Oh, yeah, of course, when you have 1,000
Still
Urn
has
charges,
6.
he's just gonna be fine. They got a Mask of Madness on Silent PA. Like, this
Dire's
is
top
just
tower
so
is under attack.
devastating. Solo looking for the glimpse on Pycat. If he gets that,
He will.
just don't know.
Gets it right back into a shitstorm. I mean, there's no other way to say it. They lock him in place and they just manhandle him. Now Silent, godlike at this point. Is there any reason to kind of continue here as she is just
Dire's
unraveling
top
such a
tower is under
fury on the
attack.
back with this bloodlust, this empower, this Mask of Madness, and the additional cleave. She can take out anyone she
Dire's
wants.
bottom tower is under attack.
It's just absolutely insane. Like, I was earlier saying in the draft that I thought Team Tinker had more maximum potential when they're playing on their A game, but Empire, they love to play Clowny Dota. They love to play
Dire's
this just like
structures are
crazy back and
fortified.
forth
Yeah.
from 10 minutes in,
Dire's bottom
non-stop team
tower
fight
is under
type play
attack.
style, and this is their A game, and I have to
Dire's
say it
bottom
trumps anything
tower
I've ever
has
seen
fallen.
from Team Tinker. Like, Silent is just absolutely devastating. He got his free farm passive time, picks up a nice little Battle Fury while his teammates 4v5, and then he starts one-shotting people. And there just is no answer for Team Tinker. Like, eventually Pycat will have an E-Blade, and that will will wear down. But for now, Silent's about to pick up an Agency Immortal, and this might as well be the GG Roach. Like, Team Tinker are...
This is an easy segue into doing this Roche. And, I mean, I agree with you. Empire a team that's happy to box, but if this other team wants to take the gloves off and go into a bar brawl, they're ready to have at it. And Tinker's looking like the guy who's had too many drinks and can't even throw a punch right, and they're just missing the chin, and Empire's just like mocking him, throwing him on the ground, and that's it.
The GG
Drunk man's
agent,
out. He's had
literally.
one too many. It's time to send him on home, but someone get him a driver because Team Tinker is done. They call GG, they immediately
Dire's
peace on
middle
out.
tower is under attack.
Empire just outclass him in this one as it looks like Team Tinker continuing to struggle. And recovery mode at this point, as it's going to be another loss on their notch belt. Man, oh man, Empire come up big after their recent fall to Na'Vi, and they really take it to Tinker, man.
I don't know what else there is to say here. 20 minutes in, you see it, the 1305 PA with 757 GPM, and I'll hand it to her on a platter by Resolutions Magnus. Like, there were some good Ravages too, Yoki, and there obviously was the whiffed one RP towards the beginning of the game, but it seems like hours ago as how much has happened in these past 10 minutes. Just amazing play across the board, and Team Tinker don't know what hit them.
Certainly don't. So with that said, it's going to be Tinker who are going to be falling down now to a 6-4 record here in the Summit 2 Europe, and that will put Empire back up square even, 5-5. So now with that done, that was our fourth matchup of the day. We still have 3 more European Dota matches to go here. A nice long day from top to bottom. All slots are filled here. Our next matchup is going to be Team Na'Vi taking on BBC, the Balkan Bears, a team that's already out of the running, but with the Weehaw playing, you really never know what kind of Dota you're going to get. And Na'Vi would certainly love to pick up an easy win here. That will be coming up in just a moment. If you like what you heard, catch me on my Twitter at KyleGuy, and of course my fantastic co-caster Blaze. Catch him on his Twitter at BlazeCasting. Thank you very much, folks. We'll throw to some music and be back in just a moment.